So we're all here today because we're all single.
Woo!
We're all on the market. So anybody watching this, no, I'm kidding. We've all been in a pandemic the last couple months and our social lives have definitely changed. Not that it's honestly not that different in my dating life. It was pretty slow and steady, pretty slow before, but definitely more so now. So we're here to chat because I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to what we're dealing with right now. So, my first question for you guys is how have you been dating during this pandemic?
Okay, so I've tried Hinge, Bumble, just Hinge and Bumble, I guess, at this time. So one of the guys met in a socially distant situation outside. He was the brother of my friend's boyfriend, meeting somebody that I know. So great. Like, really thought that we clicked. Well, I think that we clicked. It's still TBD. Fast forward to him not reaching out. So, like, the gameplay didn't work. So I'm like, screw it. That's not my personality. If I want to talk to somebody, I'm just going to message them. That's who I am. So I did. And it was like a short conversation, whatever. But it just so happens that he works for a electric company. And it just so happens that the Monday or Tuesday after the weekend that I met him, an insane storm that takes out the entire island, the power for an entire island happens.
The perfect metaphor of like my dating life too, but like a perfect storm for me. But Taylor, what about you?
I'm on the apps. I'm on Hinge. I'm on Bumble. I'm on Raya. But like, it's all just like swipes, like swipe.
Yeah. Like you don't go as far as doing the combo.
No, like there'll even be a little bit of a conversation, but after that, I kind of stop answering, and I'm like, I'm over it.
I think it's really different right now. Like, I think everyone feels differently about like how socially distanced they are comfortable being, and like who they're comfortable seeing, and like if they're going home to live with their parents, like if they can really, like, you can have great conversations with somebody, but like at the end of the day, you don't know them, you don't trust them, so like you don't know who they're seeing,
Yeah.
Like I was supposed to, like, I had been talking to this guy, and like we had made a plan to get dinner in the city somewhere outdoors, and he was like honest with me. He was like, I have been with people, like whatever, and for me, like hanging out with people, not like been with people. But
I was about to say
or honestly, I don't know, maybe he was. But he's like, I just want to be honest with you, like, because I would want to know, like, if you were. And like for me, I didn't want to go then, because it's like I'm going home and living with my mom, and like I don't want to like put her at risk. I don't want to put other people I've been around at risk. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard. I mean, obviously people right now on these apps I kind of feel like maybe are seeing other people. Mm-hmm. It's hard to know like who to trust, I feel like right now. I mean, as if I didn't have enough trust issues already. It's like, now, here we go. It's like, for me, like I need to talk to that person for a while to even know if I want to go get a drink with them.
And especially now, like you're saying, Sid, like you do not want to go out with someone who you have no idea who they're around. It's like, it's scary.
Yeah. I also think that quarantine has made people realize, and like guys especially, that they're like lonely and want to find someone, because they like can't be going to bars and hooking up with random girls every night. So maybe it's making them grow up a little bit, and I feel like that's making the apps like very popular right now.
What would you guys say has been like the hardest part about dating right now?
Honestly, not being able to go out, because like Miranda was saying, like I would so much rather meet someone out, like even if it's like at my friend's apartment with a bunch of people, but that is just like not a possibility right now.
When I was supposed to go on that date, I just kept thinking about like, oh my God, this is so awkward. Like, can I hug him? Can I shake his hand? Like, what do I do? Because I feel like when we're meeting new people, it's awkward. Like, how do you embrace them? Like, give them a little elbow? Like, there's like that extra level of awkwardness, I feel like, that's now added, and pressure in a way, that's like added to kind of like going on it's essentially like a blind date, like going on a date with someone who you've never met. So it's like, how do you greet them and how do you say goodbye to them?
I think that the hardest part for me is more personal, because I faced a lot of rejection during this time. This constant it not working out for me,
Yeah.
like, you know, like taking hits. Um, and all that wrong with you or why you weren't good enough or why it didn't work. But that's like a personal issue that I'm working on. But I'm curious if like other people feel that way too.
I think in the past I've definitely felt that a lot, and it's hard to not like blame yourself. And I also think it's really easy to like compare yourself to other people. And for me, it's a big thing. Like a lot of my friends are in relationships. So I'm like, why are they all in relationships? And like, I'm still single. Like, you know, it's like a lot of that. And like, just in general, a lot of the important people in my life are in relationships. So it's like, it's really easy to feel that way.
It's also like when you're looking, it's 10 times harder. But now I have the problem where I'm in LA right now, been quarantined in LA, and like, do I put my dating apps in LA or do I do it in New York? And like, I don't even know what to do. Like, that's a thing too. I feel like, and that's like, I'm sure you guys, like you said, like no one knows when they're officially back in New York or where they're going to be and stuff. So I'm like, I honestly have been like switching back and forth from LA and New York and like looking at different people. I don't know.
It's hard because like no one knows really what's going on, you know? No one, I mean, this could be how life is for quite some time, or it could not be like this after fall. So it's like really up in the air. And I feel like I've had so many conversations like on Raya where it's like, oh yeah, like let's get a drink when you're back. It's like, okay, like see you in 3 months. Like
See you in 5 months.
we not talk until then? Or like I had like one FaceTime date or two, and like it was fine. Like it was nice, and it was nice to talk to someone, but like you're still like, I'm like sitting in my childhood bedroom, like feeling like such a loser. Like, you know, like it's like I don't feel good about this right now. Art on the wall, like
Like even like the idea of FaceTiming with a stranger like that, like I can't get past that. Like I couldn't even.
no, Taylor, I was the same way.
Said you go.
And
Also.
finally, I was just like, I want to, A, like I'm having good conversation, and B, I want to be able to say I did this because like this is so out of my comfort zone. Like I would prefer to just like meet someone out, which I know is like,
And like not know what their expectation, because you know
right.
when you're dating
There's
app,
that
like, they're looking.
expectation.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's that like weird expectation. And so that's why like I was like feeling a little bit weird about these video calls, whatever. But I mean, the worst thing that can happen is like it's weird and you're just like, okay, gotta go by. But then it's like if you're having good conversation, how do you eventually like end it?
Yeah.
Conversation, just say, oh, mom's dinner is ready. Thank you so much for this conversation. Bye.
That was for me, Sid. So I know you already know about this a little bit, but I did like a Bumble like FaceTime date. This was like in the beginning. Like I think it was in like April. And that was like I had a full on like date. Like I think I spilled wine on my shirt because I was sitting on my bed like with a glass of wine, and like it was just like a mess. And like it was so awkward at first. But then like we talked for a while, and like it's weird. But after after we talked, and like it was a good chat, whatever, and he was like, oh, like we should do this again, whatever. I'm like, sure, whatever. And then we like texted a little bit, and then I just kind of stopped answering, he kind of stopped answering, it fizzled, right? He texted me like 2 weeks ago, this is like 3 months later, texted me 3 weeks ago. I guess he had left New York City and went to like his parents' house, I don't know where, and like he was like, oh hey, like I'm in the city now, like do you want to like get drinks? And like I'm assuming at the time he just like didn't want to deal with like an online like kind of thing, and like now he's back, and I'm like, well, I'm in LA actually, so no. But like it was like I hadn't heard from him, and I guess he like came back to the city and was like, oh, things are opening up now, I can go out with this girl. But like he clearly didn't want to deal with the online dating either. Lessons or tips that you would want to share with our community about from your experiences with dating during the pandemic?
Like it's like don't knock it till you try it. Like if I've learned anything, it's that like I should actually give it a try.
Yeah. I think there's never going to be like a right time. And by like giving yourself a timeline, I feel like that's also adding a lot of pressure that you don't necessarily need to be putting on yourself. And I'm like glad that I went out of my comfort zone and like had those FaceTime dates, because it's like definitely not something I would normally do. And kind of feel like it was like the pregame or like the warm up to my comeback of like when I'll actually go on dates, you know? That's how I'm thinking about it, you know, like it's a good way to keep yourself in check.
Another lesson that I learned was like, don't push yourself so much to like have a connection with someone just because like you're lonely and like you feel like you're like stuck in this situation now and like you need to find someone. Like I've talked to a couple people and like it just wasn't it, and like but I was like trying to force myself. So I feel like it's like, remember, like, you know, this is just like how it was, like, you know, when you're gonna find that person, like don't force yourself just because we're in like kind of like desperate measures and like more intense like life, you know. Like don't settle and like find someone that you're like actually happy with. I feel like just like keep trying.
On the apps, really try to stay true to yourself when you're having the different conversations. If you're somebody that's witty, show your wit. If you're somebody that's kind of geeky, you know, just be yourself, because then you'll really be able to find somebody.
Thanks, guys. You know, hopefully everybody enjoyed this little quarantine date. If you guys have been dealing with this, please comment and let us know, because we can all become pen pals. Maybe next time we can have one of you guys come on here with us and we can all chat together. Say bye.
Bye.